won the pseudo semi-final, let's say. Um, Going into the game, I thought it was going to be a really interesting game. I thought it was an enjoyable game. There was a lot of things that went on, the offsides, the Aguero um, debacle. But I think when we all went into the game, right, we all thought we're going to learn stuff about the Champions League final, right? And if you just look at the game generally, I feel it was a pretty even game, right? Possession was pretty even, shots. I mean, XG had it kind of in Man City's favour, but obviously, I think a penalty is 0.66 XG, right? So it's really 1.2. And the offsides aren't taken into account, right? But if you look at like the formations, I mean, I kind of struggled to draw out this Miss Man City team, to be honest. I remember when the lineup first came out, I thought that it was going to be a back four with Ake in midfield, kind of like as a midfield two, with Laporte and Diaz at the back, and then Cancelo in the back four. That's what I thought it was going to be, like kind of a 4-4-2, because that's what he played against Tuchel in the last game they played in the cup. But it didn't really. Nake's played there before, right? I think when he was at Watford, I want to say, was it Reading? But no, it wasn't. It was more of a back five, which I thought was interesting. I didn't really understand. To me, this kind of screamed Guardiola wanting to, because Tuchel's always going to play this back five, right, with Alonso and James. That's how he'll play in the final. To me, this kind of was a Pep Guardiola experiment to see if he could match Tuchel, and see how it worked. I actually think it worked pretty well. I was watching the kickoff while I was watching the game, and they were very much saying that Chelsea kind of deserved to win. I felt it was a pretty even game. I thought a draw would have been fair. But the main takeaway I took from this is I haven't learned anything, which I know kind of sounds like a weird thing to say, but they're very even sides. This is the Premier League table from the January 26th, right? So that's the day Thomas Tuchel took over when he played against, was it Wolves, I think they played on the opening day of Tuchel's Chelsea stint. And look, Man City have obviously won more games, right? Of course they have. But in terms of expected points, they're very even, right? And obviously Tuchel's getting used to a new team and new language, etc. But they are even. They are even sides. Chelsea are a better defensive side. Man City are a bit of a better attacking side. But I don't. It was a game that flattered to deceive me. I don't feel like we really learned anything about any of the teams. I thought Raheem Sterling had a really good game. I felt so sorry for Rodri. He was just there on his own. And, Rodri's big issue is that he's not that mobile, right? And I think what Pep was trying to do was trying to overload Chelsea's back three with a back four, because a lot of the time it was Sterling, Jesus, Aguero and Torres it was like a 4-1-3 at that time. But the issue with that is when Chelsea won the ball, it was kind of just like three guys on Rodri. And because the fullbacks were so high up anyway, it kind of just felt like it was Ziyech, Werner and Pulisic just running at Rodri. And I didn't think Ake had a great game. Laporte, it was weird seeing him in the middle back three. He didn't look comfortable there for any part of the game. And it was just such an underwhelming game for me, because I don't feel like we've learned anything. Like, I don't think Ziyech will start. I think, in the Champions League final, this will definitely be Mason Mount. This will probably be Ben Chilwell. You assume Kovacic or Jorginho will start. It was a fun game, but I don't really feel like we learned anything going into the Champions League final. And of course, it had ramifications on the actual Premier League table. Of course, it did. Man City, they haven't won the league yet. Technically, Man United can still win the league, but I don't think they will. And I think Chelsea probably wrapped up top four now. They've still got a game in hand on Leicester. If they win that, they go with Leicester. I personally think Leicester will still stay in. But yeah, overall, I don't feel like we've learned anything. I'd still back City in the Champions League as well, because if we go back to this XG, Man City are playing not second team, obviously. I think that'd be very unfair, but Aguero, Jesus, Sterling, Torres, Mendy and Ake and Laporte won't start in the Champions League final for me. Yeah, and they're playing a completely new system they're not used to, yet they still outperform Chelsea, at least on XG anyway. Or even if you don't agree with XG, it was still an even game, right? It took, when was the Alonso goal? Was that the 92nd minute? Yeah, 92nd minute. So yeah, I'd still back City in the final. I think they're a better side. I'd say they just edged it today with probably a weakened team. But But yeah, that's my thoughts on the game. Let me know what you think, and subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out regular content. You know, you can go back on my channel and look at some of my old stuff. But yeah, subscribe. It would mean a lot. But let me know what you thought of the game. And did it influence your thoughts for the Champions League final, man? I'm really excited for this Champions League final. I think it'll be very interesting. You know, because the last few Champions League finals have been very boring. You know, the Tottenham-Liverpool one was terrible. Bayern PSG was a bit of a dull game, but I think this will be a fun Champions League final. But yeah, subscribe to the channel and peace.